Hey, Scottsdale Living. I'm live this morning with Ted Taylor from Family Promise AZ. Fantastic organization right here in Scottsdale. It's also around the country, if I understand that correct. Is that right?
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, and Ted's executive director. Family Promise provides, and correct me at any time, and I'm going to let you take over after this, but you provide shelter for families and their pets when they're, in crisis. They're about to be homeless or have been, and they just need a helping hand. Is that about right?
That's exactly right.
Perfect. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about, how long you've been there and kind of the day-to-day, what you guys do?
Sure. So I've been here 10 years. I was a businessman. I had no idea of this. I believe I was called to this work 10 years ago, literally by my pastor, who was chairman of the board of Family Promise. Mm-hmm. So I've been here 10 years, and it's been the adventure of a lifetime for sure. I have been so blessed. So just to give you a little bit about Family Promise and structure and the way we operate, because it's a really unique shelter, different than any other shelter in the Valley. Sure. So instead of being a site-based shelter where we have a bunch of beds and a bunch of people sleeping and eating at our facilities, we actually shelter in congregations. Mm-hmm. So churches, synagogues, and God willing, someday mosques. I'm still working on that one. But they provide all of our families' beds there. We actually provide the beds for them, but at their locations, and also all the food there. So they do it a week at a time. So we've been running, we call this an interfaith hospitality network. And it's been running this way nationally for 35 years. In Phoenix, this is our 20th anniversary.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. So you guys actually have a facility, like a little apartment kind of complex in South Scottsdale, if I remember correctly. What's the gist of that? How is that used?
Yeah, wow. So that was the original offices of Family Promises as well, Family Promise, as well as what we would call communal housing. Well, what happened, you can imagine, John, with COVID, everything changed.
Sure.
So what happened is this congregational network system I just mentioned to you, when COVID came, our average volunteer is over 60 years of age at congregation. Wow. So we felt on March the 13th, we made a very difficult decision, which was we could not continue to put them at risk.
Sure.
The volunteers. So we made the decision to shelter in place. Okay. So the answer to your question about our Bellevue site, which is one of our larger sites, we have 4 sites in the Valley, but that particular site we converted into, we brought all of our families into there and our Earl facility, which is where I'm at. Okay. And so we sheltered in place. So to be quite frank with you, Bellevue is absolutely packed with families.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
It's got a cool little outdoor area. And the pet thing was what's amazing to me. I think you guys are probably the only shelter out there that allows the family pet to come along with the family, right?
Well, not nationally. Locally, first of all, I want to say we would like everybody to do it for obvious reasons. It's really, really important to our families. But Sojourner, for example, a domestic violence shelter, also has pets. Okay. We are the only family shelter. We've been doing it since 2012, and we continue to be the only one. So, but it's a very important component. Let me mention this, just if you don't mind for a minute. The reason the pet program is so important may not be obvious to everybody. Everybody thinks we ought to bring pets in because families love their pets. Let me explain why it's even a bigger deal than that. 1/3 of families who lose their homes will end up losing their children.
Oh, wow. That's scary.
1/3 of them.
Right.
What happens with pets, and I found out the hard way, John, when there were just 2 employees at Family Promise, me and Cheryl, that was it. We welcomed a family when there's a waiting list. This was back in 2012. We welcomed a family of 2 parents, 2 kids, and everything was going great. And after we had said, "You're welcome to come in," they said, "Well, we have a problem. We have a dog."
Right.
And the dog is out front.
Oh, wow.
Can we bring the dog in?
Sure.
And we couldn't because we didn't have insurance. We didn't have a facility designed for it. We had no protocols. We said no. And John, I will never forget watching that family walk out and their children crying. And I was a mess.
Oh, that's got to be a heartbreaking moment. That's a
We said
heartbreaking.
we can't do that again.
Right.
So we have been blessed to create this program with PetSmart's help, and it has been just a blessing for many, many families. 20 to 30% of our families will have pets.
Oh, that's fantastic. So to expound a little bit more upon, so you're helping the families get back on their feet. What does that portion of the program involve as far as, the education, financial literacy, life skills training? How do you guys facilitate that?
All right, perfect. Well, let me begin by defining the demographics so you have a sense of who we serve, because it has everything to do with what we do.
Sure.
First of all, this is a national number, but also locally, 84% of homeless families are single mothers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
With young children, average age 9. So if you come to Family Promise, what you see is young mothers with young children primarily.
Sure, sure.
One of the first things that we do when we welcome a family in is stabilize. Mm-hmm. So we want them to feel safe again. So we provide them the ability to, and by the way, and the kids also feel safe again. That's really important to us.
Sure.
So we provide, obviously, showers, we provide food, we provide all the essentials that they may need when they come in. We also take most of their stuff in with us.
Sure.
With them. But I want to focus in for you on the most important thing we do for families, bar none, before we go to training them and educating them and helping them with housing, is we send them to the congregations.
Okay. Yeah.
And the reason is the key behind Family Promise is the love that gets poured into these families.
Sure.
The truth is that the most powerful thing within Family Promise nationally is the love immersion that happens with these children when they go to congregation. So you can imagine COVID's been really a challenge for us.
Yeah, it's got to be. That's a struggle.
But what happens is when you immerse children in love, what happens is they transform.
Sure.
They start to feel normal again. And I've often heard it said by a parent that the parent says they can handle homelessness, but what they can't handle is watching their children.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What's got to be super challenging for school, for activities, all of that, if they're on the brink.
Oh, man. I mean, think about it this way, John, that if you're a parent and your child a single parent especially, and your child gets sick at school, what does the school say? You got to go, the kid has to go home.
Right.
What if you're at work?
Yeah, yeah.
How do you navigate that? So I share that with you because that's the challenge across this nation. So one of the things that we do at Family Promise is we provide childcare, not just from the day they come in, but also while they're looking for work, when they're working, and then we set up with their help a childcare solution for when they leave. Because at the end of the day, they've got to be able to navigate childcare. And there's a lot of partners we have in that. Boys and Girls Club's a great partner for us, for the older kids. We have infant daycare relationships. So we're not a childcare agency, but we have many partnerships across the valley. In fact, I would say to you, John, really important, that Family Promise is nothing without these amazing partners that we have in the valley, right, including the city of Scottsdale, who've been passionate about helping families and helping us.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, kind of on a side note, I'm a commissioner for the Parks and Rec in Scottsdale, so I think our city does a great job. Really proud of a lot of the stuff that they step up and do. And seeing a place like Family Promise is amazing. I mean, if I got it right, so since you've been there, you guys have helped about 1,300 families get back on their feet and into housing?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, it is stunning to me. And we've been successful 70% of the time. That's not a small number.
Right.
And what we mean by success is returning them to sustainable housing, which means they have a job and they have the savings to get in, and they have the ability to sustain it. Those are really important.
So I imagine, and you see this around the country, right? In Phoenix especially, just like any other big city, but the availability of low-income housing, just not there, right? I mean, the ability for these people to have a place to live that they can afford on the kind of jobs that they may have, it's a struggle, and the struggle is real, and that's how they kind of end up on the outside, right?
Well, let me give you some data that'll blow your mind. We're the 48th worst state in the nation for affordable housing. And let me go further with facts. For every 100 units of affordable housing needed by extremely low income families, there are only 30 units available.
Oh my gosh, that's 70 families on the street, huh?
Correct. So what's happening is there is a growing snowball of families that have nowhere to go, and the housing is incredibly difficult to find. Yeah. So this is a catastrophe waiting to happen in the Phoenix area. Do you know, just to throw a number at you real quick, John, we're anticipating by the end of October, 58,000 evictions in Maricopa County.
Yeah, when that order gets lifted, it's going to be a really scary time. That's for sure.
So it's just a part of the reality of life that we have to deal with and try to navigate with these families. But we've been very blessed with partnerships in housing as well. So we have landlords, we have agencies that work with us. So we've been able to navigate this.
Yeah, that's good. So do you know of any programs, or is there any initiatives out there to develop more, affordable housing? Are there things going on right now, or not really?
Yes, there are. I give credit to the Arizona Department of Housing, other agencies like Native American Connections, A New Leaf, Save the Family, UMOM. These are known, really good quality agencies. And what they're doing, and I give them a lot of credit for this, is they're building with primarily tax credit money, not HUD money. They're building low-income housing projects that would provide affordable housing to families as well as individuals. And they've been doing it for years. The goal is incredibly hard to see. It's so far out there, but they're making a concerted effort. And I think that's an example of one way that we're seeking to solve the problem. Family Promise has chosen to be in relationship with them, not to build our own housing. Sure. And so we are very grateful for the work that they've done in the Valley. Now let's deal with one other piece. I'm of the opinion, and I'm just saying it up front, that multifamily developers need to play a role in this moving forward in the Valley. Right. And so what I mean is, what's going on with families that are low income is they're being pushed to the peripheral of our community. So they're being pushed to the suburbs way out. And what's happening is they cannot participate in their kids' lives because it takes them 2 hours or so to get to work and to get home. So that's another piece of this formula we've got to address in the state of Arizona, is how can multifamily housing providers participate in creating affordable housing out of existing inventory?
Yeah, and as a realtor, I see it every day. And I don't know if you want to call it gentrification or what your definition is, but the infill remodeling and building definitely changes that altogether, and it pushes families out. And I see it, I see it going on right now in South Phoenix, one of the hottest markets in the Valley. And everybody's coming in, they're building houses, and they're going from $150,000 to $300,000 to $400,000, and it's just pushing families out for sure.
Yeah, the other thing that we're seeing happening, and this is really nerve-wracking, is 40% of our families are from out of state.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So they're just looking for a better opportunity, huh?
Yeah. And they're coming in not realizing that housing is almost non-existent. I mean, it's really difficult to find, I'm talking affordable housing. You can get into rental housing, but not at prices they can afford.
Yeah. Well, in our rental market, as the housing market goes up, the rental market goes up. So
exactly right.
It's a pretty pricey place to live right now. I mean, obviously compared to California or something like that, it's not near the thing. But so where are these out-of-state families coming from? What seem to be the most common areas?
Well, what I like to say is they're coming from the cold and deadly areas.
Sure.
So Chicago, the upper Midwest, where when you're homeless with a family, you're at risk of serious injury. So they come down here believing that at least we don't have to deal with the snow and the rain and all that. And so that's one of them. And I think the other thing that's happening is that people have perceived Phoenix as a lower cost place to move to.
Used to be.
Yeah. And so we're having to deal with that as well. And And the families, when they get here, they don't realize that, it's difficult. Now, there is good news on the horizon, and that is that we have had very high employment numbers at Family Promise. So there's been a lot of demand for employment.
Sure.
I can remember the days back in 2010, as an example, 12, where we had to fight for jobs. I mean, everything. Not today. We're running 90% employed most all the time. Family can get employed as soon as they get in.
That's fantastic. Well, so with this post, I put all your information as far as how to donate to Family Promise, how to reach out to you guys. I really super appreciate your time coming on board with us, and share a little bit of. I mean, you guys are on the ground. Your boots on the ground. You're making stuff happen through a world pandemic, which God bless you. That's amazing. What can we do as a community here in Scottsdale? How can we help? I mean, is it donations? Is it clothes? Is it toiletries? Is it money? I'm sure all the above, but how do we facilitate that?
Yeah, you're right. It's all the above. I'll make it simple. During the pandemic, and as we are today, the best thing you can do is financial help, because bringing things to us in many respects creates some challenges for us right now. But the charitable tax credit is a really big deal to us, and early is better. When everybody tends to wait till the end of the year, we have the need now. Our costs during COVID went up over $200,000. And that was money we didn't have a plan for. So charitable tax credit is the best way, but any way you can help that way is awesome. There are two other areas that are really important to us right now, which is twin sheets. Really valuable for families. When they graduate, we like to set them up. We're always in need of them. So that's an area. Laundry detergent, feminine products are really valuable right now, and you can bring those directly to our Earl location in right by Old Town. Sure. Or you can bring it to Bellevue, it wouldn't matter. But those are things that we do need on an everyday basis. So that's some other things that would be helpful.
So there's the word, folks. If you're looking to get involved, you're looking to help out families right here in our community. You heard from Ted the things that you can do. So let's step up and do whatever we can to help. And again, thanks so much for your time. Anything you want to close with?
I just want to thank the community for all the support. I really feel the community support through this difficult time, and I'm deeply grateful for all that the community has done to Family Promise and the families we serve.
You know what? We're grateful for you. So thank you very much. Super appreciate it, and we'll keep in touch, all right?
Thank you very much, John. God bless.
Have a great day.
All righty.